I've invited my friend and longtime FBKG coach and speaker, Andy Wren, to flip the script. She's going to ask me some questions about our fall 2025 cohort, what it is, who it's for, and how this experience is helping professionals like you grow your voice, build your confidence, and find real community. So, whether we're talking about the FBKG community or you just want a behind the scenes of what we're building, we're glad you're here. Thanks for joining me today, Andy.
I'm glad to be here. One of my favorite things is to ask questions. So this is great. So I want to start from the top. What made you decide to build a community in the first place?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. When we first launched FBKG, the demand from other speakers who wanted to be a part of something was great. We actually went in the first year from 4 to 32. And honestly, Andy, I didn't know what to do with everybody. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. What the heck do I do with it all? And so that was when last year we decided to jump in and say, let's find a shared space. And so let me back up just a half step on that and say the why. I think it's really important to understand why and where the values come from in this is I am a big believer in, as I've mentioned before, in that blue ocean concept, in this idea of community that we can helping each other, we grow better together than alone. So with that in place, I had attended a speaker coaching back in January. And there was this moment that I looked at the person on my right, who was a comedian, and the person on my left, who was an FBI negotiator, and the person in front of me was an airline pilot. And I was like, wait, if I hand them my speech, I'm not going to get the feedback that I'm really looking for. They're great and they're awesome people, but I really wanted like more like-minded individuals that came from my space that I was with. And that was kind of the inspiration for the community because I came back and thought, let's do this together. And so that's really where it comes from is that I liken it quite honestly to an artist community where everybody's working together, but they're each creating their own individual art and their creations are beautiful and unique all at the same time, but it's better because they're doing it together than they're doing it alone.
Well, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you were seeing in the financial space that made this feel so important.
Oh, yeah. Well, both in the financial space and the academic space, which I come from both worlds, there felt like a lot of, I call it lobsters in a bucket, where we just spend a lot of time competing with each other or, hey, this person got this. How do I overcome that? And that has never been my style. I want to really hone in on congeniality. How can we work together? And so it really came a place where I thought, instead of doing it all by ourselves, trying to be competition with each other, what would it look like to open this shared space? And share ideas, right? Because you have things. In fact, Andy, I'm going to look right at you. You've done things that I never knew about. You talk about Zoom and you add dimensions to it that I didn't even know were capable. And that's been that way with every single person that I've connected with inside the community. There's something they offer in return. So it's less of the community is not a teaching platform where you come and there's some holy grail teacher teaching those students. It's really a collaborative networking space that there are ideas that we're sharing amongst each other, and no one's the smartest person in the room. That's the amazing part is there's a bunch of really smart, intelligent people who know their business and they're sharing it in a shared space.
Yeah, everybody brings something to the table, which is awesome. So what kind of transformation have you seen in the members who've gone through the program or joined the community?
Yeah, it's been incredible because I have seen and even read. I think that's where when I see the comments come back and people are like, oh, this is definitely worth the price of admission. I have advanced so much personally and professionally just from learning from each other. Or there's aha moments multiple times, whether in-person meetings or even in online chats and discussions. There have been so many, oh, I could do this better, right? We all have the ability to improve. And then someone will share, I think often of Erica Wasserman, who shared an app and a tool she had been using for a long time to capture referrals. And all of us had that aha moment of, oh, heck yeah, I should be using that. And so that's one quick example of just how many improvements and just changes. And those are small things, but those added up over time really bring a different speaker to the stage or bring a bit different performer to the podcast. It really helps everybody and grow your influence, right? You're not only gaining information, but you're also growing and networking with friends and colleagues that you wouldn't have access to or a shared space with necessarily, but in this under the same umbrella.
I want to hear how people can join the community.
Oh, well, let's definitely talk about that. So we have two cohorts that happen, one in the fall and one in the spring every year. And we call them cohorts because we want you to get to know each other and work through. But the cool part about the cohort is we bring in experts like Andy. And then there's a half a dozen others that come through and do some amazing transformational work. We have people that are teaching how to improve your presentation. We also talk about ethics in public speaking, as well as creating visioning sessions and even video. So it's got a bit of a mix of all kinds of things that are helpful to take you to the next level. And it runs for 6 months. And then you transition into the fuller community where there you're getting our value add monthly webinars that we do every month with an outside expert or sometimes even internal expert of some real value add on personal branding. We've had experts in TED Talks of what it means to get on those types of stages, everything, even bookkeeping, what it means to be an entrepreneur. So many of us are solopreneurs. And so it really gives the opportunity to help you grow and flourish, both as a professional and a speaker, a thought leader, but even just a business owner.
Can you walk us through what members actually do during the cohort? What happens in that 6 months?
You bet. And I'm going to turn the table back on you because you kick off the cohort.
I do. It's so much fun.
And then I'll pick up the rest of the speed.
Well, we have advanced education presentations. And it's a really great group because you get to develop something new and present it and get feedback from all these great professionals in the group, which is, I think, very valuable. People are a little bit worried at first about giving each other feedback, but when they find out how much it helps them improve, I've seen some really, like you were talking about light bulb moments. I've seen some fantastic light bulb moments about how people can get their audiences engaged without a lot of effort. And when they're engaged, that helps your audience really take in the message you're trying to get across. So that's the first thing we have, right? They do 4 weeks or 4 sessions of that. And it's really great.
And then we move into talking about some of the bigger term things, speaking coaching, presentation coaching. We also talk about video. Video is such a vital part of who you are and what you do in this area that it's a must have. We also do a thought leader roundtable discussion, which is fascinating, where I facilitate a group of 3 different thought leaders that come through and really add some value insight of everything from what it was like from their first experience to what they've learned along the way. So there's a lot of moments of value add.
So you've built this to be both skill building and community focused. Why was that so very important?
Yeah, because everyone's at a different stage. That was the important part that I started to see is there were very advanced speakers that had been on stages for 2 decades, while some are brand new to the stage and everything in between. And so it was really it grew out of itself of a need to be able to say, what have those advanced speakers learned that maybe I can add in, or vice versa? What am I doing to help me take it to the next level? And so the community really has been very applied, hands-on, very tactical, practice-oriented type information. But we also add in, our tagline at FBKG is where evidence meets experience. And so one of our mantras is really adding that research-based evidence into our speeches and making sure that it's not just, hey, I think this is a great idea, or someone else has done it this way for 50 years, but really what's the evidence background from it? So there was a need for that, as well as talking about some of the common pitfalls and even ethics in speaking. I think that's one of the things we're seeing in a day and age of AI, where
Right.
anybody can write a speech, right? Anybody can write something, even write a book in this time, but really what sets you apart and how do you keep authentic and ethical to your own voice?
Do you have to be a keynote speaker to join the community?
Not at all. In fact, we'll talk about the different types. As I mentioned before, there is a big difference between a workshop, a keynote, a breakout, and a webinar. And so we'll talk more about what that looks like. And keynote's not for everyone. It's a tough job. I think often we look at it and say, oh, that's so easy to get on stage, but it's like a well-honed actor or actress who commands large sums. That's because they have really put in the energy, the time, and the work. You think about going to a Hamilton play, the reason you're paying $1,500 a ticket is those actors are top of their craft. They have worked. Could you imagine if you went to a play and they forgot their lines, right? That's your $20 high school play. And so making sure that if that's what you want, you're adding the value to the client at the end of the day to make sure that you're delivering on what that is. And that isn't for everybody.
So, what are some of the other reasons people join the cohort or the FPKG community?
Yeah, so we have, I think I mentioned before, kind of some of the podcasters, somebody who really you've built your practice, you've done some things, but you really want to take it to the next level. What does that mean to be a personal brand? What does that mean to add in a new level of connection, whether it's through a new book, whether it's through writing articles for a well-known publication, whether it's through podcasting, whether it's through webinars, whatever that means for you. So yeah, we definitely do a lot of variety in there. Of communication at the end of the day is where we really hone in. How that method, how it's applied varies across platforms.
Right. Can you talk about the types of members that you see thriving in this space?
Yeah, I think the most important attribute to come to the community with is curiosity.
Mm.
And I think if you come curious with a willingness to learn and an openness to willing to learn from other people, you will find there is a depth of knowledge and wisdom that lies beneath the surface. And it isn't from one particular individual, it is from the group, the connection within the community, that all of us together are stronger than any one of us apart.
The cohort ends after what, 6 months, December, after the fall session's over. What happens after that? What happens next?
Yeah, so we do a new cohort every 6 months. And the reason why, it's a good way to enter into the community. We used to, in past years, we just open it up and you kind of jump in, but people got lost. They didn't know where to go and what happened next. So the cohort is it's a funneled way to introduce you in the community. The other benefit of the cohort is the people around you, the peers that are coming in with you inside that cohort. That's just as powerful as the facilitator in the room. Because when you start to get to know other people who are on a similar trajectory as you, that's where the magic really lies. And so, yes, once you finish with the cohort, we don't call it graduation, we call it advancement. You're just moving into the bigger community and participating with even more individuals and quite honestly, thought leaders that share different ideas. You move into the monthly calls and the other things that we have, the mastermind groups and things that we offer. So it doesn't end after 6 months. It's just a transition into the broader community.
Can you tell us about the kind of opportunities that are available in the larger FBKG community?
Yeah, so inside the FBKG community, we've got everything from media opportunities and outreach that we kind of discussed, as well as conferences, including breakouts. We also do a lot of wins. I think sharing conversations and asking questions, right? Hey, I'm stuck on this. Can anyone help me with that? And being able to have a safe space. In fact, I'll be real frank. I think one of the biggest benefits is having a safe space to fail, right? And talk about it and learn from it, and having a cheering team behind you, patting you on the back saying, it's okay, get up, dust off, and keep moving forward. That's where I think and no one wants to hear that, right? Because no one wants to think they're failing. We all fail all the time. It's just, do we have that support system behind us to say, hey, you actually didn't fail. In fact, this is what I hear often in the pod is you didn't fail. Just look at it. It's a reframe. You look at it in this way, you grew, right? And then they end up taking it a whole different light. So I think just having a safe place to learn new things and to share experiences that may be hard, may be difficult, but then you can have a safe place to share that within.
For the people who do want to pursue paid speaking, what's the process like for representation?
Yeah, so you need to be in the community. We purposely have you go through the cohort and the referable speaker keynote mastermind group because it's really important to understand what that is, what that means. And so it would start through the community, and then we have certain metrics that you would meet within. And all of that can be found within inside the community. So we definitely want to continue to grow on our speaking agency side, but it's also a place to craft and cultivate, I would say, people who are looking to speak.
What do you hope people get from being in the community?
I think the biggest thing for me is just joy. Like, I want them to be able to feel excited that they're learning something new. We've all had that before of like those aha, I'm getting that, I'm feeling that. That's what I want. I want them to feel connected to a larger community beyond themselves. I don't want them to feel lonely and that they are isolated. I want them to be able to take away that connection and that positive outlook so that you get the joy. I mean, it's almost, somebody told me the other day, they're like, yeah, when I got off stage, it was like a dopamine hit. Like, I got so excited to be able to do this. And I think we all, like, if this is your jam, like, well, that feeling. And so it's a cool place to be able to share the wins, the highs and the lows, right? And so I think that's what makes me excited is when people start to see the results and start to grow in their own confidence and their own belief in themselves that they can do the ideas they have for themselves.
What would you say to someone who's on the fence about applying?
Well, the lucky part is you're not locked in forever. I think you ought to jump in with both feet, give it a try. And really, it comes back to the curiosity thing. If you're curious, jump in, join. If it's right for you, you'll know and you'll be able to experience it. And if it's not, it just means it's not your time yet. Right. And I've always loved, in fact, I'll go back to the saying that Dottie Durbin gave me years ago when the student is willing, the teacher will appear. It's an old Buddha saying. But essentially, that's what this is. It's a safe place to come, to learn, to connect. But you have to be willing to want that, right? You have to be willing to be open to new ideas, to new ventures, and to share sometimes your not so favorite experiences to be able to learn from them. And I think it's the growth that really happens. And so if you're ready to grow and learn and challenge yourself, this is definitely the right space for that. This has been awesome. I appreciate it. Tell me, and as a wrap up, you've been a part of the community since it was formed. Tell us your experience as a community member.
Oh, I have met so many incredible people, and everybody has been super supportive and helpful for each other and with each other and sharing of ideas. And it's just been really a fantastic place to get to know people and see the same people over and over again who, hey, I know what you were doing last month or 6 months ago, and getting that encouragement to continue. So it's been a really great community to be part of.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks for being on here. If this interests you, we'd love to have you in our fall cohort. It opens up on July 1st. You can download the info packet and request to be put in the next cohort session. We're so excited to have you. Any questions, go to keynote.financial. And if you have questions, reach out. We'd love to walk alongside you as you grow your voice, your confidence, and your impact.